Yo, 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 what's good? It's another episode of Danny's Dimensions. I'm with two of my boys, Coach
Well,
Rob. You know him,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rob, and Southpaw Boxing and MMA. What's good, guys?
Go subscribe to the channel.
Yes,
you
sir.
you heard him. Do that for each one of us, man. What's up, guys? Good to see y'all again.
Yes, sir. So we got some stuff to talk about today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start with Keith Thurman, his last fight. What do you guys think about it? Talk to us about it.
Let me just go first really quickly. I thought he looked impressive, honestly. The guy's been off for 3 years. He hasn't fought since 2018, 2019 when he lost against Pacquiao.
Days, bro.
Yeah, so it's been the guy needed. I know everybody was looking for a stoppage, but honestly, the guy needed every round he can get. He's been inactive. He's in his 30s. You know what I mean? So right now is the worst time for a fighter to be inactive. Is when they're in their 30s. And I thought he looked great. Mario Barrios is a solid. He's a solid comeback fight. You know what I mean? As a guy that got knocked out by Gervonta Davis, but he was doing really good against Gervonta Davis before the stoppage. I think he was losing. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But I thought Keith Thurman looked great, man. He looked incredible. Reflexes were there. The power was still there because he wobbled Barrios a couple of times and had him looking like the Avatar after the fight. He was so swelled up. His nose was very swollen. He looked really, really – there you go. Good. He looked really bad. Mario Barrios looked very, very bad after the fight. I thought Keith looked incredible, man. I really did.
Yeah, I have to second, man. I thought Keith looked good. Only thing about it, and like you said, Johnny, I agree because he needed the rounds. He didn't have rounds, but like I said, 931 days. That's a lot of time to be out of the gym. It's a lot of time to be out of the ring at this level. At that level, that's a long time. So even if you're training, even if you're sparring, all that stuff, it still is going to impact you if you don't have those rounds. So I think it was good. He fought somebody bigger, somebody longer, somebody taller, because although Barrios came up from 140, you got to understand when you come up from 140 and you're already a big 140, when you come up to 147, that means you're going to be big as well. So it wasn't like he was fighting a slouch, like Johnny said. He just fought Tank. He was beating Tank. I mean, you guys have seen the video where Floyd went and told him, "Hey, look, man, you're losing. I need you to go out here and do something." And he did something. I think that was like the 9th or 10th round. So yeah, no, Keith looked good. He was impressive. Only thing is, I think that the time will tell this, and I think this will help him too. Because he did mention, I watched one of his interviews. He said, my sparring wasn't really like intense like it needed to be. He said I was kind of going light on sparring partners, using 18-ounce gloves, things like that. So all of that kind of stuff plays into how hefty you're going to come back and stop people, right? Like, I mean, yeah, the heavy gloves are good for the conditioning of the shoulders, but if you're not really getting active, hardcore sparring in there like that, like you should be for a fight of that magnitude, then I can see why he kind of came out the way he did. But he looked sharp. I mean, he definitely was in the best shape I've ever seen him in. I mean, he was trimmed and cut. He came in at 145. So 145 and a half, actually, he came in at. So, I mean, I've never seen Keith that in shape. So I think it was a good return fight for him. Like I said, I think Barrios was a good comeback opponent. And so we'll see where he goes from here. We'll probably talk about this, but I don't know how he's going to fare with the elite of 147 right now.
Right.
Errol is a body snatcher. Terrence knows how to finish you. He's one of the top finishers in boxing, period. Like one of the top finishers in boxing. So with that being said, Keith having these body issues, he said it could potentially be like a liver thing or something like that he might have had going on, because he felt pain in his gut even when he was just breathing in. He said before he even got hit, he was feeling pain. So with that being the case, nobody's ever stopped him, you know what I mean, to the body yet. But Collazo, Porter, even obviously Pacquiao, they've all have gotten close to putting him down. So we'll see. I think it's exciting. I think he's still the dark horse of the division, but we'll see where he goes from here.
Honestly, just to kind of like piggyback off what you said, asking you don't know how he does against the elites. Keith Thurman didn't look any different than he used to before, when he fought Porter, when he fought Garcia, when he beat those guys. Honestly, he looks just as sharp. He looked just as fast.
He looked sharper, actually, I thought.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
I thought he looked really, really good. And the thing about it is since Keith Thurman didn't stop Mario Barrios, you go into these boxing groups. This is why I stay away from boxing groups. They'll call somebody overrated, although they won the fight, they won every round, but he didn't dominate. Like when I say dominate, I mean he didn't stop him. You know what I mean? So of course, as soon as the fight was over, I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to go into Facebook and everybody and their mother, oh, Keith Thurman's overrated. Oh,
you can't beat Tank Davis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, Tank stopped Mario, but Keith Thurman couldn't. And I'm like, guys, Jesus Christ with you guys. Like, when will you learn? You know what I mean? Like, that's not the way boxing works. Right. You know what I mean?
The fanboy.
Yeah, it's like Keith Thurman, yes, he couldn't stop Mario Barrios. And to be quite honest with you, Mario Barrios in an interview has said that he was going to be going up to 147 until he got the call for Tank Davis. So he was fighting at a weight where he wasn't comfortable making that anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. And
Exactly.
And honestly, Tank Davis is a dog. You know what I mean? Like Tank Davis is a dog. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if Keith was trying to stop Mario Barrios, to be quite honest with you. I really feel as though he was just trying to get rounds in.
I think. Well, I do think that at one point he did want to stop him. I do think at one point he did when he hurt him. He hurt him a few times.
He did,
but he did also like I just mentioned. You know, I watched the post-fight interview and a couple of post-fight interviews. Shout out to Fight Hype and people like that. But he was like basically he didn't train to stop him though. So he felt like he didn't have like that extra gas to go in there and finish a guy of his size, his length, his stature, all those kind of things. So he felt like he didn't do that. But I think that if he could have got the stoppage, he would have got the stoppage. But I do believe that was a smarter move. I believe that was a smarter move for him to fight all the rounds out, see where he is, see where his legs are. And like I said, I think he looks sharp. But to be honest, I don't think that he would, in my opinion, I don't think that he would have beat the elites of the division anyway. Even if it was old one time, I don't think he would have beat those elites anyway. That's just my opinion.
Let me ask you. Why do you feel that? What do you feel that way? Because he has already beaten the elites at 147, or the elites that were
not the current ones. I'm talking about the current ones. I think they're a little bit. They're a lot. I mean, Crawford definitely. I mean, Crawford Spence. I'm so excited to see that fight if it ever happens. But those guys, well, we're going to talk about Ugas Spence next. So I think that at that, you know, that fight is a good setup. That fight is a good setup if they actually do that. But that could make this the biggest fight of the year, period. If Ugas and Spence fight, Spence wins, that means he's now unified, 3 belts. There's only 1 left, and that means undisputed fight. So that's a huge fight, Spence and Crawford. So as far as Keith goes, Keith is susceptible to some things, just as I watch his boxing style and the things that he does. Like we all know, styles makes fights. Some of the things that he does well are some of the things that Terrence can counter well, and some of the things he does wrong are some of the things that Spence can counter well. One of the things being the body. Spence goes to the body. He's not stopping at the body. He's going to continue to go to the body until he stops you. If you show any kind of hurt, pain, anything, Spence is going to keep going. But here's the catch. We don't know if this is the same Spence that we've seen fighting Porter, fighting, you know, guys from back when he fought, fighting, you know, Chris Algieri and people like that. We don't know if this is the same Spence. Because to be honest, man, I saw tweaks in his game when he fought Garcia. When he fought Danny Garcia, there were some tweaks and things I noticed that he just wasn't getting back to as quickly as he usually does. So we don't know. We don't know. Like I said, I don't think if Spence comes back 100%, I've been watching some of his tapes. Some of his guys have been talking about him being super strong in sparring. If he doesn't come back at 100%, then it's a very good chance that the Keith that we saw on Saturday could beat him. But if he comes back 100%, I don't know.
I always thought that Keith would be able to beat Spence. It's just he's a boxer puncher. He's a boxer puncher. Yes. I think that style honestly would bother Earl Spence. I think the fight would have been competitive. I still think it would be competitive. Yeah. Earl Spence's real shot, honestly, in my opinion. And you know, nothing against Spence, is just truly how I feel. I'm not really that big of a fan of Thurman. Yeah. You know what I mean? I always try to say like as unbiased as possible. But honestly, like I always felt as though Spence, his best chance would have been to go into the body. But the thing about that is the body shot stuff. I don't know if it's like, it could be a myth because we've never really seen Thurman go down from a body shot. Like, yes, he's been hurt, but a good body shot is going to hurt you no matter who you are, you know? So I don't know if that would be enough for Errol Spence to beat Keith Thurman, because honestly, Keith Thurman, once he's hurt, he knows how to retreat.
He does.
He knows how to move back.
He does.
He knows how to cut angles and get, just pretty much just stay away from you until he's recovered or until the round ends. So I always thought that Keith Thurman would be able to beat Errol Spence. Right now, with Errol Spence having that eye injury, Keith Thurman constantly having layoffs after layoffs, because this is the second layoff he's had, where, and at this age, not saying that he's old by any means, but when you're in your 30s, layoffs, no, it's not a good idea. Especially at the top tier competition or top tier level that Keith Thurman is, because he's one of the top welterweights right now. Yeah. So top welterweights are constantly fighting top welterweights. So him constantly taking time off and taking years, and it's not just like 6-7 months. Like, this dude takes years off.
Yeah,
he takes 2 years. He takes 3 years off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that I think would be his downfall if he were to fight Errol Spence.
Yeah,
because although Errol Spence too, he also has his his times off, and he's constantly having injuries, getting into car accidents, being drunk, things like that. He's not 100% disciplined.
He did it once. I don't know how often he's drunk. Right?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of like a 50-50, because I feel like Errol Spence is just he's not disciplined. Yeah. But at the same time, Keith Thurman and his constant layoffs would also, could also be his downfall. It's like a 50-50 fight, but
it is. I know. I agree.
You know what I mean?
I do agree with that. I do agree.
At this.
But if there is one guy that could beat Spence, I truly believe it is Keith Thurman.
That's a good call. I mean, like I said,
I definitely think it's a 50-50 fight at this point, based on, like you guys were touching on, like the layoffs of Keith Thurman, the problems with Errol Spence, getting drunk and not being disciplined. Neither one of them are disciplined, but they're not not disciplined in different ways. Keith Thurman with his injuries and different things that's been happening, his problems, and Spence with his, getting drunk and the car accident and doing things that he's not supposed to be doing. Just to touch on what you guys were saying, when Spence,
well, if you remember, Keith had a car accident too, Danny.
In his armor.
If you remember, Keith had a car accident too. They both can't seem to drive that well.
Either one of them, man.
Yeah.
And what's funny? The one thing that they tell you to do, buckle up, and he didn't do. That's what's not buckling up.
Let's not forget one thing about Keith Thurman, man. His hairline looks like his social distancing, man.
Bro, his hairline is up here.
Yeah,
bro, he looks like one of the DeBarges.
Oh my goodness. So Spence wins that battle because Spence's hairline is still intact.
Yeah, Keith one time.
Spence's hairline is still intact. So the hairline battle, Spence got that one.
Yeah, he won that one.
Right.
But no, I agree with another dude. No, I agree with everything y'all are saying about that. And one thing I wanted to touch on about that is the thing about Keith, and like I said, I noticed it on Saturday. He came in real sharp, but he's also been doing this since he's 12 years old. So the layoff may not have been that bad of a thing for him. Now, the amount of time is bad, and hopefully he doesn't have another one of those. He can't have another one of those now and still be effective. He can't take another 2 years off. But the 2 years may have been like a rejuvenating time for him, right? Because that's a decent amount of time. Now, I've competed. I understand how this works, right? Like, your body takes a lot of beating in training camps. It takes a lot of beating. It's a lot of stuff going on. And if you're doing that consistently, I mean, he's been competing since he was about 12 years old. I mean, been in the gym with Winky Wright, all these guys. So now here he is, took a nice 2-year break. He had some injuries, but he came back. Doesn't look like he had any injuries, right? Like, he didn't look injured to me. He looked like he was rejuvenated. First thing I always pay attention to is when a guy comes back is his legs. His legs didn't look weak. He still had bounce all 12 rounds. So I think this might have been a good thing for him, potentially, but he cannot do that again, right? So we'll see how he does from here on out. And like I said, I do agree it's a 50-50 fight. As long as Keith doesn't get hurt, I think it's a good fight.
Yep.
Agreed.
For sure. Yeah. Let's move on to the Spence Jr. versus Yordenis Ugas fight. Saturday.
You have to overpronounce his government.
AT&T Stadium.
Yordenis. Yo, you know what, bro? Honestly, that's a sleeper fight. That's a sleeper fight.
It really is. That's a good
I feel like a lot of people, at least, and this is just from me looking at Facebook groups. This is, like I said, this is why I stay from Facebook groups and Facebook groups that have to do with boxing, because people say things that's just like are out of this world. Like a lot of people really believe that Errol Spence is just gonna just dog walk Ugas. And you know what?
Crazy.
He could stop Ugas. He could stop Ugas. But that fight is going to be very competitive. Yo, Ugas is the only Cuban that I know that will stand and bang with you. No other Cuban do that. Guillermo Rigondeaux, Lara, Luis Ortiz, those guys will be damned. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like those guys move. Like in when it comes to Cuban boxing, when you think of the Cuban boxing style, what do you think about? Stick and move, footwork, defense, counter punching. Yordenis Ugas is like, he is not the typical Cuban. Like I say, he will stand and bang with anybody.
Now I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, I feel as though that could work against him, against a guy like Errol Spence.
That's what I was about to say.
Exactly.
But I truly believe that if Yordenis Ugas fights like how a typical Cuban is supposed to fight, I think he can give Errol Spence some trouble. I don't think he beats Errol Spence, to be quite honest with you. I think Spence is gonna beat him, probably stops him. But if Yordenis Ugas fights how usual Cubans fight, I think it could be an interesting fight. I think it could be a very competitive fight. If he tries to stand and bang with him, which I'm almost certain is going to happen at some point. I don't know. I wouldn't have him.
I don't know how many knockouts Ugas has on his record. I don't know if one of you guys want to check that, but I don't think he's a heavy hitter.
No,
like
he's not a big puncher.
He's not a big puncher, so it would be a mistake. And hope that whoever he's in camp with tells him that not to stand and bang. Now it's also not because if we really think about it now, and I'm going to say something that's probably kind of controversial, but Spence isn't. I mean, Spence has power, right? Let's not take that away. But Spence hasn't been knocking many people out recently, right? He knocked Porter down, never knocked Garcia out. And Garcia was standing right in front of him. But I don't know. Only thing about Mikey Garcia is I don't think that he was trying to knock him out. I mean, I think he just wanted to box his ears off, which he did. But the other two, I think if he could have, he would have, right? And he didn't do it to either, and they didn't really even look affected too much. Like, I mean, when Porter got clipped, he got right back up, and he was ready to go back, beating his chest on him. Come on, let's go. He didn't do that against Crawford. I'm just saying. Now,
no, he was punching the ground.
He punched the ground, not his chest, right? But but that first knockdown actually hurt him. If you looked at his eyes, he was glossy because that left uppercut caught him a little bit. But to go back, let me not get sidetracked because I can do that real easy. But Ugas, if he stands and bangs with Spence, I think it's gonna be a short night. Now, if he's disciplined like he was against Pacquiao, now what I noticed in the Ugas fight, that was probably like the first real Ugas fight I watched. I watched him fight Porter. I thought he did pretty good against him too, because I really only wanted to see him against the elites. I didn't really care about how he came up. I just keep hearing his name. So I don't really know a whole lot about him yet. But both of those fights, like you just said, Johnny, is he was standing and banging. Horrible idea to do with Spence. Horrible idea to do with Spence. Spence gonna stop him if he does that. But if he boxes him, but doesn't box him from too far of distance, meaning that he tries to get inside, pulls a Floyd on him, right? Hit him, jab him, get inside, wrap him up, turn him, jab him. It's going to be a boring fight, right? If he doesn't stand and bang. But I feel like that's probably his only chance of beating him because I don't think he stands power for power with him. He has good size, but it's different, right? You just have size but not power. Spence probably walk through you. So I think it's a good fight. I think that he's disciplined enough that if he does just pop his jab like he did with Pacquiao, if he does what he did with Pacquiao, I think that he could potentially pull an upset. If he does what he did with Pacquiao. What he did with Pacquiao is very disciplined. Very disciplined. Jab, stand, wait. Jab, right jab, stand, wait. Jab, Pacquiao run into something. Jab, boom, left hook. Jab, boom, or I'm sorry, or whatever he was. He's right, he's Southpaw. So left hook. Those are the kind of things he was doing. And he was consistent. He was moving when he needed to move. He wasn't running, but he was standing where he needed to stand. And his defense, I wouldn't say it's elite defense, but he had decent defense. But also Pacquiao's legs were hurt, whatever. So we got to see a good, exhibition of Pacquiao. That wasn't the real Pacquiao.
So can I just say something about the legs? Can we just stop giving this mother effort Pacquiao a pass. Every time he loses, he's got an excuse.
Yeah.
Every time, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
When he fought Floyd, they were talking about his shoulder. When he fought,
I agree.
He lost to Jeff Horn. He blamed it on a cold.
Yeah,
he lost to Ugas. He blamed it on his legs. Eric Morales, it was the blood test or the gloves. It's like, damn, can you ever just lose and be like, yo, the better man won? It's always, oh, this happened. This when he had that close fight with Juan Manuel Marquez, the third fight before he got knocked out. He was saying, "Oh, I didn't take him serious." Like, bro, come on, bro.
You
like,
had
what? After 4 fights?
Yeah.
At this point,
in the third fight, the fourth fight, I don't even know if he had an excuse. Probably did. Who knows? When he got slept, I don't know if he actually had an excuse. He probably did. It wouldn't surprise me. But in the third fight, he was supposed to.
I tripped.
And not to get sidetracked, it's just I just want to bring something really up. That third fight, that Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez third fight, Bob Arum put him in there because he thought that Manny Pacquiao had gotten so much better that he was going to dominate Juan Manuel Marquez. And he didn't. He didn't. A lot of people felt he lost that fight. You know what I mean? The fourth fight, he was doing good.
You mean the third fight? You mean the third fight? People.
Yeah, in the third fight. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
the third fight, he was. Everybody thought he was going to dominate Marquez, me included. But Marquez, did what Marquez did.
Marquez is Marquez, But just a real quick thing. Ugas' record, 27-4, 12.
12, yeah.
12.
He's gonna have to box.
27-4?
27-4.
God, I didn't know he lost that many times. I thought he only lost like twice.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna have to box and move. Well, I didn't mean the jab.
But he's never been stopped, though.
I meant to check right. That's what he was beating Pacquiao with. The check right hook all night. Check right hook. Check right hook. Check right hook all night. That's what he was beating Pacquiao with.
Same punch all night.
All night. Now, if he, like I said, he can't do that specific thing with Spence, but if he can find the thing that can open Spence up, because I mean, really, honestly, bro, when you think about it, outside of just being like not as mobile and not as kind of robotic in there, I can't really think of too many weaknesses that Spence has, right? Like he's a little immobile. Like I wish he was a little bit more, like would use angles more. Spence is straight up and down. He's walking you down. He's hurting you. That's kind of how I look at Spence as a fighter. But outside of that, man, I don't really see too many things that he's weak at. You know what I mean? So this will be a tough fight for Ugas. But if he plays his cards right, I mean, hey, anybody, it's I don't say it's 50-50. But I'd say it might. I don't think this is 50-50.
I don't give Ugas any realistic chance of beating Spence. I just think he could make it competitive. That's and that's where it ends pretty much.
Maybe for the first 5.
I would say it also depends on what type of Errol Spence we're going to see, because has he fully recovered from the eye? Has he fully recovered from the car accident? We've noticed that when he fought Danny Garcia, there was some chinks in his armor. It looked like the same Errol Spence that had fought Porter. You know what I'm saying? But he was different. So at this point, it's basically we know I guess we could say we know what Ugas comes in, but it's more of a factor of what Spence shows up than what Ugas does.
And glad you brought up Danny Garcia, man. Respect to Danny Garcia, love him, Puerto Rican pride. But out of the 4 welterweights that were at the top, Spence, Porter, Danny, and Crawford at the time, Danny Garcia was the weakest link.
Oh, of course.
100% was the weakest link.
Big time.
Right.
So Errol Spence dominating him honestly did not shock me at all. That's what I expected. He looked really good. I thought it was a great comeback fight. After his car accident. The thing though is that that eyebrow or retina, whatever it is. I've heard that there's been guys that have been forced to retire from that injury. So that's a serious injury. That's a serious injury.
Kell Brook had 2 of them.
Did he?
Well, he had an orbital bone.
It wasn't a broken orbital bone. It was
he was broken orbital bone. Yeah, on both eyes.
I can't think of the fighters off the top of my head, but I've heard that some fighters have had to actually end their career because of that injury. So that's a serious injury.
Yeah,
that's a serious injury. The only reason I think that this is a 50-50 fight is I'm not 50-50 fight. That
I was about to say, well, hold on, we got
no. Sorry. The only reason I think Jordanis can make this interesting is because of that injury. Even though, like, if this was Spence before the car accident and before the eyebrow injury, at 100%. I don't think Ugas even fighting the way he needs to fight. I don't think he would have, made it interesting.
No.
I still think Spence would have watched him. But now, who knows what Spence is going to show up to the ring? You know what I mean?
Very good point. Very good point. Very good point, Danny. I mean, we don't know which Spence is going to show up. So I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's tough. I'm not going to call it 50-50 because I know Spence ain't going to come in there completely untrained, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been watching, man, I've been listening in on some of his sparring partners. And of course, your sparring partner is always going to say that, oh man, he's looking like a killer in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then he comes out to the fight and he doesn't do anything. But exactly. You know what I mean?
I mean, for that $2,000 paycheck a week, I'm saying
right. I'm saying,
you feel me?
Say, right. So I think that I think that Spence will look like old Spence. I think the biggest issue that Ugas is going to have, and what everybody has with Spence, is his jab. His jab is electric, bro. His jab is electric. That joint goes exactly where it needs to go, when it needs to go there. He pinpoints it. And I mean, Danny Garcia even said this. He was like, that was the biggest issue I had with him was his jab.
Yeah.
So
couldn't get past the jab.
Couldn't get past jab. So it's like anything else you had in mind, you're not going to be able to do it because you can't even get past his jab. Now we're also got to we got to factor in these are two southpaws. Both these guys are southpaws.
Wait, Ugas is
Ugas. Wait, I thought Ugas.
He's not a.
He switches. No, Ugas can switch.
He switches. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could have sworn he fought Pacquiao right-handed.
Yeah, but no. Ugas fought Pacquiao as a southpaw. Let me check.
Hold on. No. He definitely fought him right-handed. I remember
straight right.
Spence pulled out, and they said Ugas. He immediately said, "Oh, bring some right-handers in here."
Yeah, Ugas is I just looked it up. Ugas is orthodox.
Yeah, he's orthodox. At least when he fought Pacquiao, he fought orthodox. I've never seen him fight southpaw.
Got you.
Right.
Okay.
But he can switch though. I've seen
him.
He
can.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he can.
Yeah, no, he's not. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking about him and Spence because Spence was supposed to fight Pacquiao too. Mm-hmm. But
right.
Yeah, that then all of a sudden he got a retina tear. We're not gonna touch that.
Yeah.
But
you know what, bro? I guarantee you Spence was punching the air after Ugas beat him. Yeah, I don't think many people expected Ugas to win.
No, I don't think anybody did. Mm-mm. I don't think anybody did.
No. Yeah. But I knew that, not to sleep on Ugas in that fight. I was thinking in my mind the night of that fight, I was like, man, I don't know. Pacquiao might underestimate Ugas, and Ugas is a good fighter. You can't sleep on him. You cannot sleep. So that's what I think with Spence.
It was a good fight with Sean Porter. Like I said, I honestly don't know a whole lot about Ugas yet, because you're only kind of recently more so hearing his name. Mm-hmm. Right. But I thought he looked good against Porter too. I mean, honestly, that could have went either way in my opinion.
Arguably, Ugas won that fight.
Yeah,
but the way I judge fights, I don't know if you guys do the same, but I pretty much, I'm sure you guys do. I judge fighters based off of their last fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because boxing is kind of like a, what have you done for me lately kind of sport.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
The way I'm looking at the highlights right now, and he just looked marvelous against Pacquiao. Although Pacquiao was 42 or whatever, slowed down. Father Time probably got the better of him.
Yeah.
He still looked tremendous. He
did. And like I said though earlier, I mean, Pacquiao does always make some kind of excuse after a fight for an injury, but I really do believe this one because he didn't have much explosiveness at all. Right. Like the way he was moving in and out, like regular Pacquiao, he wasn't doing any of that. He was kind of just standing there. I mean, for probably from about the 5th to the 12th, that's what I was watching. I said, wow, Pac's not moving at all.
Yeah, no, at all. But you know what? That also could be other. It maybe the leg injury was real. I don't know, or whatever.
Yeah, clamps or something like that.
His calves were too tight, whatever it was. Yeah. But at the same time, also the guy was 42, 43. Mm-hmm. So I don't expect him to move like he was 35. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that also played a part in it too. And not only that, but he was also inactive too for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, he was inactive. He fought Keith Thurman, and then he didn't fight for a long time.
Right.
He fights.
That's what I'm saying. So all that bundled into like one. I think that's
it plays a part. It definitely plays.
Yeah, and of course, Jordanis helped. He helped a lot. A bunch of right hands.
A lot.
Yeah, all those check right hooks. Yeah.
Like I'm looking at the fight right now, and another thing too, Pacquiao has always been a sucker for right hands. As a southpaw, your biggest and you're a coach, so I know you know this very well. A southpaw's biggest enemy is the right hand.
Right hand.
you know, and of course,
Yeah.
Dennis has a beautiful right hand.
Yeah,
And that's
he just-
another thing too that could possibly help him against Spence. The only thing is he doesn't crack. He doesn't
No.
crack.
He doesn't, but he cracks
He
enough
has
to keep-
now he has decent footwork.
Mhm.
So if he knows
He
where to
does.
get his feet, like Danny
Mm-hmm.
and I think talked about last week, just about the southpaw and how the southpaw needs to do to stay away from that right hand.
Mhm.
Ugas has good feet, but so does Spence. So it's going to be, like I said, Spence doesn't cut angles well, but I'm sure Spence knows well enough what to do with his front foot to make sure that it's not on the inside of his, so he's running into a right hand every single time, right? So we'll see, because I think that, you know, southpaw and orthodox fights are always a fight of the feet. It's not even upstairs; it's fight of the feet.
Yep.
It's who can get the right placement, and once you get that right placement. Once you have educated feet and you can get that right placement, then you can begin to open up. But it's fight of the feet first. So we'll see. We'll see.
And people don't understand is, you know, the boxing casual doesn't understand, like, it's a battle
Exactly.
of feet, really what it is. You know what I
It's
mean? Who can
about
maintain outside foot dominance, pretty much what it is.
Yep.
And that's so hard to do, guys. Like,
it is.
that is so hard to do.
It is.
Which Rob, right? Is your name?
Mhm.
You competed before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You right-handed or are you a southpaw?
Well, I can go both ways. Pause.
Okay.
But I'm primarily orthodox.
Dominant style. Which one are you?
Primarily orthodox. Yeah.
Okay, orthodox. So I'm sure you fought
I
southpaws before.
fought 4 southpaws. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's people don't understand. It sounds easy, but it is so hard. Their front hand is in the way of everything you do.
Yes.
It's so goddamn annoying.
Yep.
Like, you don't understand.
Sir.
Like, yo, honestly, bro, like, just somebody having their hand out like this is so goddamn annoying, and it's very difficult to get around.
Yeah.
So a southpaw orthodox fight is always very interesting because feet get tangled.
Yep.
You know, people don't look as dominant because, like, for example, when Floyd Mayweather fought Robert Guerrero, he beat the living crap out of him, but he wasn't doing things that he normally did because Robert Guerrero's right hand was in his way. Like, he wasn't able to get in there and throw the the left hook like he usually does. I mean, even though he beat the shit out of him easy, but, you know, it's just little things that if you actually, like, if you focus, you could be like, damn, Floyd's having a hard time doing this, but it's because the right hand is just always in the way. And it's the same thing with a southpaw. The orthodox's left hand is in the way, and you know what I mean. It's not as easy to land body jabs as it is if you were facing somebody in your own stance. You know what I mean?
It's tough. It is tough. It's definitely tough.
Southpaw, they basically they cancel each other's jab out.
Pretty much.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
100%.
And it's all foot placement.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all about foot placement, man. Like, if you can get the right now, like I said, if a southpaw fighter, which I fought one of them that didn't know what he was doing with his feet, so he's a win on my record, right? But others, man, it's hard. Like, it's hard because if they know where to go with their feet, it's really like feinting a lot. I had to do a lot of feinting. I have to do a lot of feinting to get them to bite, and then I can scoot to the outside and throw my right hand. It's not like you can just stand there and just kind of box like you can with somebody else, you know, like an orthodox fighter. You guys kind of just know, and you have to mirror everything the opposite direction. So even defense, it's like if I know to catch here, catch here for a jab, well, I have to think now, wait, he's jabbing with the other hand the other way. I got to catch my front hand. You know what I mean? There's stuff like that that you always have to be mindful of. So it is difficult to fight a southpaw, but once you get a southpaw and they don't know where to go anymore, once they don't realize that circling to their right is their best key. Yeah, circle to your right, because you want to avoid my right. Once they don't know that, and once you start to pick them apart, they don't usually come back. They can't. They can't come back
at all.
So it's like I said, it's a catch-22, man. Like my thing is, if either way you fight, you can figure it out. It's just southpaws are sometimes a little bit more difficult because there just aren't that many of them.
Yeah, and that's why I give it's so hard doing it in the amateur level, because, as you know, in the amateur level, you don't know who the hell you're fighting until the day of the fight.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Nope. Unless you know somebody that knows somebody, you have absolutely zero clue who you're fighting until the day of. And chances are you're probably sparring right-handed figers. You know, the day of, you find out is a southpaw, and you're like, shit. You know, now I gotta. You know, that's why you see when an orthodox fighter is fighting a southpaw, if you see them, they're very calculated. They're very like they're not like they're very timid. They're not willing to
thinking.
you know what I mean? They're thinking, feigning a lot. I need to see how he reacts. I need to see what he throws at me. You know what I mean? Before I feel
Yep.
comfortable enough to go in there.
Yeah,
That's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, guys, people that don't box, people that's just, you know, couch potatoes, we call them.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Right.
Like those guys that
Yeah.
just talk a lot of crap, and you know they've never stepped in the ring before. You know, they don't. Those people, they don't understand how difficult it really is just stepping in there to throw a jab, because you don't know what hand is coming. You don't know where it's coming from. You're not prepared for a southpaw. The benefit that a southpaw has is a southpaw has fought way more orthodox fighters than you have fought southpaw fighters. You know what I mean? So they know where you're coming from. They're already used to it. You know what I mean? Now if they fight a southpaw, now it's like, oh shit, now it's reverse to them. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you throw that reverse Uno card at them. Now
it's like George.
Yeah, no, that's true. The only. Oh, I'm sorry, Danny. Go ahead. I didn't cut you off.
Yeah, it's like George Foreman says: the southpaw is always on the wrong side.
Yep.
Wrong side.
The thing that helped, you know, me is that I learned both ways, right? I'm not an expert southpaw, right? But I can go rounds as a southpaw. So learning both ways helped me see both ways.
Yep.
Right. So it kind of got a little bit easier as I got more into it, where I was like, okay, now I kind of pick you apart as a southpaw. And that's my style anyway. I like to kind of wait, be patient, see what you throw, see what you're good at, you know, see what kind of power you got, see how fast you are, what kind of twitch muscles you got. And then once I see your errors, then I begin to pick them apart.
Yep.
But you have to kind of be that way with a southpaw, man, because you don't know, like I said, if you never sparred one before, you don't know what they're gonna come with.
Yeah. It's a whole, I'm telling you,
it's weird.
A orthodox fighter going into the gym for their first sparring session against a southpaw, it's right, you know what I mean? Like it's disorienting because you are so confused. Like, why is he hitting me with this? Where's this punch coming from? You don't know. You know, you've never experienced it before. Yeah. So I remember my first time, because I'm a southpaw too. Obviously, southpaw boxing. Yeah. So I'm a southpaw, and you know, every time I fought right-handed fighters, I was always comfortable because I knew where everything was coming from. You know, I get a call, hey, you know, come spar a guy, you know, help him out, no problem. I get there, I'm a heavyweight guy, I'm a heavyweight fighter, so I get there, and the guy's a southpaw too, and I'm like, oh shit, it was the worst sparring session I've ever had. I got caught with almost everything the guy threw, because I'm so used to fighting a right-handed person, you know what I mean, that I'm just like, oh my god, like it was just so uncomfortable. It was the worst. I hate sparring southpaw.
Worst thing for southpaw is another southpaw.
Oh yeah,
it's tough. Like I said, it's tough either way, right? Like you get southpaw orthodox or southpaw. Both of those are tough. But like I said, the Cuban southpaws are another layer of tough, because they have the foot. Like I said, it's the footwork. With the Cuban southpaws, and you know, and you got good footwork, it's like, oh no, what am I gonna do now? You gotta figure them out though. But no, I think
I was out there.
I think, and the funny thing is because like and it's like because I even think like Floyd, when he was first coming in, his dad would avoid him fighting southpaws. Like when he fought Daryl Coley, he didn't want him to fight him. When he fought Chop, he was like, don't you ever put him in there. I remember the story. It said, he told Rod, don't you ever put him in there again with another southpaw.
Chop hit him with a right hook and staggered Floyd.
Yeah,
I think it was round 4 of the fight. That was his first fight at 40.
It was.
To 140 pounds. I remember it was in Atlantic City, and Chop. Shout out to Chop, one of my boys. Chop hit him with a right hook, and it staggered him, and he almost had him. Almost.
You ever put him in there with another southpaw? I mean, my middle son is southpaw, so we're working on him now, man.
Wasn't there a time? And call me crazy, that the southpaw stance was like banned in boxing? Is that a myth, or is that a real thing?
I'd have to.
You know what? I'm gonna pull it up, because I feel like back in like the 1800s or something like that, I heard of a story. I don't know if it's true or not. That the southpaw stance was actually like banned, or it was like seen as like the devil, because like the left hand was like the devil's hand or something.
Left-handed people are always considered like the devil, or
something like that. So I remember there was a time like being a southpaw was like you were looked at as like, yo, you're evil. You know what I mean?
Well, probably so. Yeah,
I would say so. So next fight. Oh man, this is a spicy one. So we all saw Claressa Shields fight against Emma Kozine, and after the fight, there was a little bit of banter going on between her and one Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall is the only person who has beaten Claressa Shields, beat her in the Olympics in 2012.
Mhm.
Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields, what do you guys think? Providing Savannah Marshall wins her next fight, which we think she all will. What do you guys think of what happened after the fight? And
Yeah,
what
I
do you
saw it. I said, yeah,
the only thing
you can go
the only
first,
thing,
man. I'm not too excited about it, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was just about to say the only thing
Right.
that sucks about that fight, as great as we know it is, nobody cares about women's boxing, and that's no disrespect. It's just reality. I do.
Yeah.
I like women's boxing.
Yeah,
But the
me too.
casual, you're not gonna see Buffalo Wild Wings being packed to watch Claressa Shields. You're just
Yeah.
not. You know what I mean? You're just not. It's just not gonna happen. So I feel as though it is a good fight. It is a good fight, but unfortunately, it's just not gonna grab any attention. Claressa Shields is the only reason I'm even watching women's boxing right now. When she fought Christina Hammer, that was the first time I tuned into a women's boxing fight in a long, long time.
Mhm.
Wow.
And yeah, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And like I said, it's no disrespect to them. They're warriors, but the casual fan base, they're not gonna pack out an arena to watch two women. It's just reality. It's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it is a great fight.
It is.
You know, it's just that's just what it is.
No, I do. No, I was gonna, huh?
I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna say something about the fight after.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree that casual fans don't care. They don't even know who these women are. But but I think that the Savannah Marshall win in the Olympics, I mean, she won, she beat her, right? But I don't classify it as anything because how many Olympic flukes have there been, bro? Like I don't even look at the Olympics as like a good measuring stick for anything anymore. Now, of course, Olympic fighters, they always, 9 times out of 10 they're going to do good pro, 9 times out of 10, but there is that percentage that they won't, right? But so I think it'll be a completely different fight now. I think Claressa has improved her game to another level. She's probably gonna be too smart for her. She's working with Floyd now too. So, and I mean, not Floyd teaches her one way, I'm sure, about being defensive and stuff, but you got to give him his props for who he is, man. Like the dude he's a genius. So I don't see that really being that exciting of a fight. Like Johnny was saying, I don't see too many people tuning in. But I think Claressa wins, handily.
I see the same thing. Claressa unfortunately has pillows for hands, so I see it being a decision. I like I said, unfortunately, it's just not a fight that I'm excited about, and there's not many people that are excited about that fight, and it's unfortunate, but it's just what it is.
It's like a WWE banter that they had at the end of the fight,
right? Like. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure most of the perverted guys that are watching that fight probably prefer them to see them in like a bra and panties match or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like not many are gonna watch to actually, they're not gonna tune in and they're not gonna tune in, man. It's it's unfortunate, bro, but it's
the same. And honestly, man, unfortunately, I feel the same about Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I know we're not gonna talk about that in full today, but I feel the same. Like people they're just not going to tune in. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a fight that is huge for women's boxing.
Oh yeah,
but it's it's if you're interested in that kind of stuff, right?
And I love Claressa Shields, man. You know what? I respect her a lot because she actually had the balls to take her talent to the other side and went to MMA, and she won. And she won. Although she lost the second fight, but she won. Or did she lose the second fight?
She did. But I honestly thought that she won that fight, but
right. She dropped the lady and almost had her out of there.
Yeah, she did.
But unfortunately, she's just, what was it? A submission that
no, they went to the cards.
But went to the cards. Okay,
it went to the cards.
But she went in there. She won her first fight. She was 1-0, and then she lost her second fight. It happens. Yeah. But I respect her because she's one of the few boxers that have actually done that. Like she doesn't just talk, like she actually does.
She did it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I respect her. Love Claressa Shields. But like I said, I'm probably not gonna watch the fight because I don't even know when the date is, and the day of, I'm probably gonna forget that it's even on. Like I said, it's unfortunate. But I do love Claressa Shields though.
Yeah. Well, I would say that fight is not set in stone yet. It's provided Savannah Marshall wins her fight, which probably she will. But my thing is, if Savannah Marshall is saying that Claressa Shields is pillow fisted and she has 12 wins, only 2 KOs to Savannah Marshall's 11 wins and 9 KOs, Savannah Marshall is a powerful puncher. That's something that we cannot take away from her. But if she is saying that Claressa
I didn't even know that. Good info, man.
Then I don't want to see you standing outside, jabbing and moving and doing different types of things. I want you to come in there, let your hands go, and look for some big shots.
It's probably, you know what, man, that fight is probably going to be the same way that the Christina Hammer fight was.
Ooh.
And it's just going to be Claressa Shields outboxing her, showing spectacular defense, good head movement, good footwork, and I think she's going to outclass her and win. Is it 12 rounds?
Oh, it's 10 probably.
10 rounds. It's going to be a 10-0. It's going to be a sweep. Maybe Savannah gets like one round in, but I don't see much happening.
Savannah Marshall is fighting Femke Hermans, the same fighter that Claressa Shields went to distance with. Does that, we talked about it, about how you're only as good as your last fight. So if she goes out there and destroys Femke Hermans, what do you think about her chances against Claressa Shields? Does it change?
I think no matter what she does, even if she knocks her out in the first round, Claressa Shields is gonna outbox her and is gonna 10-0 her.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even think that's that hard. I don't think it's that hard of a fight for Claressa, to be honest. I don't see it really being too much of an issue.
The thing about it is these powerhouses, they always and as a coach, usually the boxer beats the puncher. We
love those.
9%. Yeah, so 9 times out of 10.
Please give me everything you got, bro. Give me everything you got.
That is not a bad.
No, and it's true. It's true. 9 times out of 10, the boxer beats the puncher.
Right.
Right. And it's no different here. It's no different here. And Claressa Shields, she sparred men. She spars men like she sparred Andre Durrell or Anthony Durrell, whichever one it was. You know what I mean? Like she's been in there with what's that lady's name from the UFC? Cyborg, Chris Cyborg. You know what I mean? Like she's been in there with like top competition, just sparring. And Savannah Marshall, honestly, she's very, very sloppy. She's very, very flat-footed. She throws a very lazy jab, kind of like she flicks the jab. I don't like her fighting style at all whatsoever. Yeah, she can crack, but like that's about it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like I said, she's Claressa's been around Andre Ward, Floyd.
Yep.
Who?
Shakur Stevenson.
These are boxers. These are boxers that can also bang a little bit, but these are boxers that know technically what to do to people like that.
Yes.
If she listens to anything that she's learned in any of these camps that she's participated in, she'll be fine.
Yeah. Savannah Marshall. Danny, do you know much about her, by the way?
I don't know anything about her.
So Savannah Marshall, if you watch her her fight, I think she fought some lady named like Mariah Dingberg or something like that.
Yeah.
That I don't know if that was like her last. I don't remember what fight that was, but I remember her. I don't know.
Yeah, she fought Maria Lindbergh.
Lindbergh. There you go, Maria Lindbergh. And I remember seeing the fight. I didn't see the fight, but I saw the highlights, and I'm just like, yo, Savannah Marshall. She tries to fight like. How do I say this without sounding bad? But she tries to fight like a slick black fighter, and it's just she just looks so goofy doing it. You know what I mean? Like you could tell she has no athleticism. She's not athletic at all whatsoever. Yeah. Props to her for trying. But let's just be honest. Boxing is a sport where blacks have dominated because of their, you know what I mean, and we just you know what I mean. Their reflexes are just so much better than other races, and it's just what it is. I don't see Savannah Marshall doing anything. I don't think she has 1 second of success against Claressa. I think I see Claressa just 10-0 in her. Honestly, I do not see. The only thing she has is a puncher's chance, and good luck trying to catch Claressa with a solid clean shot.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, not at all.
If she's talking about Claressa is so pillow fisted, then she should do what she has to do. But guess what? Claressa Shields, I think she's better technically sound boxer for sure.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's not even close.
Not even a question. Yeah,
it's
no
not
question.
Even close.
Marshall does have the punch, but I think that it is a different fight between the amateurs and now.
Yep.
Also, I mean, there is some instances where, with the Vernon Forrests and the Sugar Shane Mosleys, where he beat him in the amateurs, and then he had his number in the pros. This situation, I think, is altogether different because, like you guys said, the experience. Also, let's factor in the experience with Claressa Shields and what she's done as a pro, as opposed to what Savannah Marshall has done. She basically has a prospect level record, and she just now became the WBO middleweight champion. And so, hey, I mean, it's a good fight, but I might have to lean towards Claressa on this one. Because
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Savannah will not win 1 second of that fight. She just is not gonna happen. Claressa Shields is just way too athletic for her. And Savannah, she's like, how do I say that? Oh my gosh, she's like a kind of like looking fighter. You know what I mean? Like she
looks that way, right? You mean like it's
like stiff, right?
She's just so stiff. Like she tries to fight like she's athletic, but she's not. She's not athletic. Imagine Marcos Maidana trying to fight like Floyd Mayweather. Like that's what she reminds me of,
right.
Honestly. She's not athletic. She's very easy to hit. She moves like that. It's very
Claressa's gonna dog her, bro.
You know what I mean?
It might even be a stoppage.
Yeah. Like she was Danny, you know who she fought Lolita something Moyeza?
Musea, I think her
Musea,
name.
there you go. Lolita Musea. And Lolita Musea for the first round was making her look stupid. And Lolita Musea is she's nothing like Claressa Shields. You know what I mean?
That is true.
But she was making for like the first 2 minutes of the fight. She had her looking really silly in there. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, bro, Savannah Marshall, and not to seem like I'm hating on her, but she's not the one to beat Claressa. She's not.
I'm watching her now. First thing is she doesn't have enough punch output. She's
exactly.
She's just popping jabs, keeping her hands mad low. Like that stuff isn't gonna work with Claressa.
No.
That's not really crossing her feet and stuff. Like, come on, man. All right. Yeah, I've seen enough. We can move on to the next fight, Danny.
It's gonna be an easy night for Claressa, Danny.
I've seen enough.
And if Savannah wins 1 round, bro, I'm gonna be shocked. I really will. I'll be shocked.
I've seen enough. She looks like a serious. I've never watched her fight before, but I'm watching the highlight of her now. She looks like a klutz in there.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm telling you, she tries to fight like she's athletic, but she's not. It's not her style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. It is kind of
very. Claressa's gonna have an easy time with her.
Yeah, she's
like I said, I'll be shocked if she actually wins the round.
I mean, she starts round 1 with her hands down low. Like,
she fights with like her hand. And you see like the jab that she throws, like such a lazy jab. It's like,
there you go. Poor man's Tyson Fury.
Yeah, poor man's Tyson Fury. Like that's what she looks like to me right now.
Pretty much.
Speaking of Tyson Fury is going to fight White. Finally, Dillian White gets himself a title shot. So, what do you guys think about Tyson?
The only positive thing coming out of this fight is that Dillian White is getting a chance to fight for WBC.
You know what? I honestly hope that Dillian White beats Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury.
Really?
Dude, bro. Tyson Fury is so full of every time they ask him about Alexander Usyk to become undisputed. Why would you not want to become undisputed? You know what he said? That's not a fight I'm interested in. I'm looking for big fights. How is that not a big fight?
No, he wants to fight Alexander.
No, he doesn't. Every time they ask him about it, he says no.
He called him out. No, he called him out. He called out Usyk. He called out Usyk and Joshua. Yeah, he called him out recently.
He calls, bro. Tyson Fury is a liar. Everything that comes out of Tyson Fury is all cap. Bro, that man has had more battles in court than fights in the ring in the past couple of years. Bro.
I don't disagree, but what I'm saying is that I don't think that he's not a. No, I mean he would fight Usyk. He already sized up Usyk. Him and Usyk got a face-to-face already.
I don't know. I doubt it. I hope you're right. I hope
they did. No, they did.
I hope so.
Yeah. No, I think that they have to go the right way because I was telling Danny last week. The only thing about Fury is I don't think that he's at a place now where he's I don't think he has the hunger as much as he may need to at this point, but it's like technically speaking, if he didn't go into his crack epidemic and his mental health epidemic, whatever all that was, if he didn't do that, technically speaking, he actually has been undisputed at this point because he held all the belts. Mm-hmm. So now he's just trying to do something that he actually already did before. Yeah. So it's like if he called out Usyk, he called out Joshua. I think Dillian White is a fight that should happen primarily for Dillian. But I definitely don't see Dillian beating. I don't see anybody beating Fury, to be honest.
No, I don't think he beats him. I just hope he beats him.
Yeah, I get you.
And I'm a big Fury fan, or I was at one point. But he's just, you start to realize that Fury is just full of, ever since he beat Deontay Wilder, bro, and even Deontay Wilder practically had to beg this man, had to take him to court just for him to actually, what I mean, just for him to actually agree to do what he contractually agreed to do. You know what I mean? Right. Like the man had to be taken to court just to do what he was said he was going to do. So
Tyson Fury does. I will have to say, to Johnny's point, Tyson Fury does contradict himself a lot when he says something.
Bro, he's not mentally stable. But he actually, when he gets in, I mean, come on, you have to give him that. He's not mentally stable. But when he gets in there and fights, he does his thing. And I mean, you can't knock that. Nobody's beat him. Nobody really made him look bad. Comes down to the fighting part. So, so I can't. I think that he says a lot of stuff just to get us to have the kind of conversation we're having right now. Exactly. You know what I mean? Because any kind of press is good press. But but I do believe that
he's just trying to keep his name in there.
Yeah, he's trying to keep his name relevant. I mean, like for Keith Thurman to ask Terrence Crawford for a $10 million fight, that was just to keep his name relevant while he was coming back. You know what I mean? So it's just like people do this kind of stuff. You got to stay relevant. But I think that Tyson Fury does have. I know that he has the capabilities to beat everybody in the heavyweight division right now. If he's on, and the X factor is Sugar Hill, because now he's taking him from a boxer that had zero power. He had zero power. I mean, he could, he had a few knockouts. He could hurt you just because he's big. But now you're taking that guy that already has those boxing capabilities, and nobody's going to sit on here and say that he does not have some of the best boxing skills at the heavyweight division. Nobody can sit on here and say that. Out of any other heavyweight, who can box like Tyson Fury? No one. Not that I know of.
Usyk
is the only one, but Usyk is a cruiserweight coming up, right? But I mean, at 6'9", 200 or more pounds, boxing.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Nobody can do that. Nobody does that. Certainly not Wilder. Definitely not Joshua.
Especially for 12 rounds, because he does this. Usually bigger guys that box very, very well.
They tire out.
Yeah, after like round 4 or 5, they start to slow down, and you could tell that they're like, But no, Fury, the whole fight, he's like that. I've never seen that. I've never seen.
And so that's what I'm saying. So I gotta pay him, pay him a little respects there. But as far as the stuff he says, I just really ignore half the stuff he says, unless he's talking about what he's going to do in the fight. Because past 2 Deontay Wilder fights, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He said, "I'm going to stop Wilder in the second round." He stopped him. He's going to knock him down in the second round. He knocked him down in the third round. He came out and did exactly what he said he was going to do in both of those fights. So it's like when it comes to fighting, nobody beats him at heavyweight, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. When it comes to talking and interviewing and stuff, he's crazy. I just ignore half the stuff he says.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't see anybody. The only guy like maybe be Joshua. I don't think he does.
You've heard. I'm sure you've heard about this before. He used to dog walk Joshua in sparring. Like they've had plenty.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, it was Tyson dogging Joshua.
Oh,
now Big Baby, they said in his last camp gave Tyson some work. Big Baby Anderson.
Oh, Jared Anderson.
Yeah, they said he gave Tyson some work, and I believe that because.
Oh yeah. There was a time he did an interview and his face was all beat up.
Yeah, he's no joke.
And he was sparring Jared Anderson, and then what's the other guy's name?
F.A. Jabba.
Yeah. Both of those guys gave him really good work, but apparently Jared Anderson was really putting it on him.
He was getting work.
But Jared Anderson, he's a truth, bro.
He really is. He really is.
Nice.
But honestly, that fight, the way I see it, I want White to win. I don't think it's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. The way I see it is Dillian White is gonna have some success to the body because he's a really good body puncher.
True.
He's gonna have some success going down to the body. He might win a round or two. But other than that, I think Fury's just gonna 1-2 tie him up
all night,
kind of frustrate him. It's gonna be a pretty easy night for Fury.
Yeah, honestly. Man. Unfortunately,
like I told Danny last week, I really think that the hardest fight outside of Usyk, the hardest fight at heavyweight that Fury could have had, he's already had. Wilder. Wilder was probably the hardest fight he was going to have. I mean, Joshua's not going to box with him. I honestly see if he can hurt Joshua, that fight may not even last that long, because Joshua, unless he's changed, we'll have to see how he looks in April, because he's supposed to fight Usyk again, right? Is he supposed to fight Usyk again?
Yeah. I don't know if it's signed, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. So if that looks okay, if they look good there, we'll see how Joshua looks. Then I'll maybe reassess. But based on Joshua's last performance and Joshua's even performance before that, I'm like, dude, he's not changing, and I think he really needs to get away from Rob McCracken. I think he needs to get away from him just for a little bit. I mean, I'm obviously I'm a coach, right? So I always preach loyalty to your coach, but in the same breath, if you're not getting what you need from that coach, man, you're a competitive fighter. You're at the elite level. You gotta get what you need, and I don't think he's getting it.
You gotta add new
McCracken.
I got a question for you. Since you being a coach, really quickly, if you're Anthony Joshua's head coach, how do you prepare him for Usyk? What's your game plan?
For Usyk, he needs to fight long. He needs to use his height, use his attributes. What he did against Usyk in that fight was he fought Usyk's fight. Now, Usyk obviously is a much more talented boxer, but if he fights long and draw him in, cause him to run into something, that's how I would coach him. I would coach him fight long, jab, stay away from him, jab, run him into a right hand, keeping the feet where they need to go. And the thing is that he didn't have that concept down, because when he fought Usyk, he fought right there with him like they were in the pocket together. And he was getting destroyed. Usyk cutting angles on him. I mean, Usyk one time was all the way on the other side of Joshua, and Joshua was standing in the middle of the ring like he was lost. So you would have to cut the ring off, because Usyk moves well. You'd have to cut the ring off. And then when you cut the ring off, make sure that you're able to hurt him. He has to hurt Usyk. Usyk is much smaller. He has to hurt him. You know, when I say throw jabs, you don't throw flick jabs. You don't stay long and throw little flick jabs and little flick, little nice little, little pitter patter. No, you got to throw something that's going to hurt him to get him to wake up. You know what I mean? Get him to wake up so you can put him to sleep.
Exactly.
That's the only way. That's the only way. I don't see him beating Usyk any other way, because we saw that happen, and that didn't go over.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Usyk is too talented. He's too talented. Usyk is very talented, man. But I don't see Usyk really hurting many people at that level, because I mean he doesn't have the size. He doesn't have the power like that. He never really had power like that. I mean, unless you put him in there with Tony Bellew, and he'll knock you in between the ropes. But he doesn't have power like that, I don't think, to compete at heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
But he has the ability. I mean, he has the boxing ability to compete with anybody at heavyweight easily. So no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So really quickly, what about the guys that say that oops, my bad, hold on, phone's ringing. Sorry. What about the people that say Anthony Joshua has to sell out and go in for the kill, just jump on Usyk?
No, that's a bad idea, because he's what Usyk is a boxer. We just said that. Exactly. Usyk is a boxer. He would want that.
What about the box the fighter, fight the boxer concept? Wouldn't that also
box the fighter, fight the boxer concept?
Yeah.
You would have to fight him, right? But you would first need to let him know that you're there.
Exactly.
Usyk didn't know Joshua was there, because he stood and fought with him at his game. I gotta feel uncomfortable. Something that you do has to make me uncomfortable. That jab is what needs to make Usyk uncomfortable. Staying long, staying tall, using your attributes. That has to make him uncomfortable. That makes him uncomfortable. Then Joshua can begin to fight. Exactly. But Joshua didn't do that. He didn't set anything up. He came in there and just hands up like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and Usyk, that's what he wanted. We saw him try to fight the boxer.
Right. He spent his whole time.
We saw that already.
Fencing.
Right. You know what I mean? So people that say that concept, man, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. You have to set everything up first. You can come in there and try to fight him. We saw that happen. Usyk destroyed him the whole fight. I mean, I never saw Usyk even breathing hard. Right. So it's like I don't think that's the concept that you would want to take to fight Usyk. It's too smart. Got, trained, the whole Lomachenko style. Like, I mean, they train together. The whole Kazakhstan style. You don't come in and just try to bang him. It's not going to work.
No,
not going to work.
So,
but you also don't spend too much time boxing either, because he'll beat you there.
Exactly.
So you just have to stay long for the moment of time that you need. Stay long, make him uncomfortable, then close distance.
Right. Okay. I was going to say the same thing. You cannot go in there and just go for broke against Usyk. He'll pick you apart all night long.
Yeah.
And then the style that he was fighting in the, just fencing with him, paw with the jab.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I'm sitting there like, what are you doing?
He
That's
has
not
to
your
land.
fight. That's not your fight.
He has to land something. He has to land something, but he cannot rush Usyk. Usyk is going to
authority. He has to throw the authority,
yeah.
like Rob was saying, to let him know that I'm here. You're going to eat this jab, and then he can throw the other power punches. Another thing he also needs to do is he can go to Usyk's body. The body shots is what slows down a mover.
Mm-hmm.
Make a mover sit still.
Mm-hmm.
So throw body shots, but he needs to start going.
Hold on, guys. I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Jab is the key.
Go ahead.
And he's long, he's tall, he has a reach. Why? Yeah. Why are you letting somebody just outbox you like that? Like you're just sitting there fencing with him.
Right, and he looks so confused too. It's like
super confused.
It's like he never saw that style before,
Never.
And it was just so interesting to see how dumbfounded Anthony Joshua looked. It was weird. But you know what it is? Anthony Joshua, he has trouble with shorter guys. Andy Ruiz beat him. Usyk beat him. Both guys are shorter than him.
Dudes.
Right. So I feel as though I thought that Anthony Joshua kind of just needed to go for broke and just go in there bombs away. You know what I mean? So it could, but like how Rob said, it could work against him. I just thought that was the way to do it.
He can't just go in there just going for broke. He has to be intelligent. I want him to put the pressure on him, but I would like for him to jab. He has to behind an authoritative jab, because this fencing stuff is not going to work. It really not. He's going to get outboxed again. And actually, to be honest with you, Usyk did hurt Joshua a couple times. I think it was
at the end of the fight, there was like 10 seconds left, and Joshua was
left in the 12th round. He had him hurt. Probably could have stopped him, but he was content to get the victory.
Yeah. And honestly, the bell rung very, very fast. Very, very. There was still like 10 seconds left, and it rung everything.
So
he could have stopped him. Could have stopped him.
What are we talking about?
The last 10 seconds of the Usyk Joshua fight, when Joshua was wobbled.
Oh yeah, when he was wobbled. Yeah.
So that's why we were talking about saying that going for broke. Does he really want to do that? Because he know how it felt, and he tried to box him, and it didn't work. I mean, I get what you're saying, Johnny. I believe that he should.
What do you think, Johnny?
Has to put pressure.
Well, like I was just telling Danny, I always thought that the way for him to win the rematch was kind of just go for broke, bombs away. Just go in there swinging wild, not swinging wild, but just jump on him. Just jump on the smaller guy and just throw yourself at him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I agree with that approach. But not like you said, going in wildly. But I think you have to set that stuff up first. Like here's a good analogy. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, the third fight, even the second fight. Now Deontay can't box at all, right? Like everybody knows it. Deontay does not have boxing ability. He's a good puncher, doesn't have any footwork. He's not a boxer, right?
Right.
But he's a smaller guy compared to Fury, right?
Yeah.
So what Fury did was he still set him up because he knows that he's dangerous.
Exactly.
Right? He knows that if he catches you, it's a wrap. Like I could really be knocked out. He came in even in the second fight, knocked him down in the third. He set that up. He hurt him. You understand? So it's the same concept I'm talking about for Usyk and Joshua. He needs to hurt him first, give him a reason to not want to just walk you down, because Usyk was literally walking Joshua down in their last fight. He was literally, that's how he got hurt up against the ropes at the end of the fight. He was literally walking Joshua down. This dude is 6'6", 250 pounds. Usyk on a good day is 220, 230, 6'2".
If that,
on, bro, that dude shouldn't be walking you down. I don't care what gym you came out of. You shouldn't be walking me down. I'm that big. There's just my size alone should make you want to get me up off you. Right. So I think but what he needs to do, because Usyk is such a smart boxer, that you would have to hurt that guy first. You have to hurt him early, set him up, hurt him early, give him a reason not to want to box, give him a reason to want to just move around, and then you walk him down, put pressure on him, lay on him, those kind of things. Use that strategy then. But you have to give him a reason not to want to walk you down, because per their last fight, Usyk is probably going to just do the same thing he did in the first fight. He's like, well, if he doesn't change anything, why do I need to change anything? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Right? So I think that he needs to come in, work him, hurt him, but he needs to work the jab, use his attributes. Give him a reason not to want to chase you down. Don't just flick jab him. Don't just sit there and paw with him. Use your attributes. But this is something I've said about AJ for years. He never uses his attributes. Never. He's got a good uppercut and he's got a good left hook.
Excellent uppercut.
His jab could be a lot better.
Way
his
better.
Jab could be a lot better. And so I'm like, if you would use what you have, man, you could. The fights that he lost, he wouldn't have lost. Oh. Why did he get hurt by Andy Ruiz and knocked down by Andy Ruiz? He tried to go in there and try to finish him.
Yep.
But he walked in, no head movement at all.
Counter left hook.
Left hook got countered. Right. He threw a left hook, missed, got countered.
Yep.
Why are you doing that? And he's standing up tall inside. Come on, bro. Like, there's so many issues I have with AJ's game, but it's like, I don't want to make this an AJ Bad session, so I'll stop. Shout out to Anthony Joshua.
He's a good fighter. Everything you're saying, you're saying I agree with. Like I said, I was just under the impression that, but you're a coach, you know more than I do. I was just under the impression that what he attempted to do, try to box the boxer, didn't work. No. So I figured, okay, next best thing is just jump in on him. But you know what I mean? That could also, as you were saying, work against him. You know what I mean? That's just the way that I thought, because that's what I would have done. You know what I mean? If I'm Joshua, I would have just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for broke and then just go in there. You know what I mean?
But then he would have got hurt, and like he did get hurt, and Joshua doesn't have the chin for that. Like, I'm sure you probably have more of a chin. Joshua is chinny. You know what I mean? Joshua's chinny. Like, he runs in there with his face in the air. He's getting slept, or at least knocked down. So every punch, if you watch the second Ruiz fight, every punch Ruiz landed, it looked like it was about to shake him up. And it wasn't just because we were used to seeing him get knocked out by this guy. It was because he was really getting shook up. His equilibrium was still off. He got touched on the chin. You see Joshua's knees buckle. I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? So I think Joshua, like I said, I respect Joshua, man. Shout out to Anthony Joshua and Rob McCracken, man. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't copyright infringe us, man. But the truth is the truth, man. The truth is the truth, man. Like, there's so many things. Like, I just wish I could get in touch with him. It's like, bro, let me holler at you for a second, because there's so much stuff that he could change. And he's such an athletic specimen that if he could change those things, he could I think I told you this last week, Danny. Think if Anthony Joshua teamed up with Sugar Hill.
Oh, man.
Just put that in your mind.
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
But you know what? Anthony Joshua doesn't take criticism very well, because you remember what he said about Lennox Lewis.
He doesn't.
He's like, Lennox is a clown. And I'm like,
bro,
really?
He's a legend in your nation, bro. Like,
like the guy's he's just trying to help you out. Like, he's not, you know what I mean? Like, he criticized, but hey, you know what? Every fighter, and Andre Ward said it best, bro. You can't be a good fighter if you cannot take criticism. It's just, you know what I mean? Because we're gonna try to fight everybody that criticizes you. You know what I mean? It's just, and Joshua seems to be one of those guys. I don't know, maybe he matured since then, but he just seems like one of those guys that he just could not take any criticism at all.
Boxing is a humbling sport, bro.
Yeah,
boxing is a humbling sport. Like, you have to take everything you can get, man, from people that have done it, people that know better than you, people that have been where you're trying to get. You have to, man. But that's just life, period, though, right? But we won't go there. But I'm just saying, it's just in boxing, you have to. You have to. Now, it doesn't mean that everything is going to work for you, but if you're not capable to adapt, the reason why Floyd Mayweather is so good and will go down as one of the greatest of all time is because he had adaptability. The reason why anybody that is good goes down as the greatest of all time is because they could adapt. The only way you can adapt is by taking in different things and utilizing them to the right way.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what I mean? Like that. That's one of the things people will say. Like, man, Floyd's so composing here. Floyd is this. Floyd's I can't hit him. I can't see it because he's adapting.
He's seeing things.
Good boxers adapt. They adapt to they see what you do bad. We overtake you by what you do bad by what we do well.
Exactly.
That's what good boxers do. Yep. Now, if I can't get there to you for some reason, what you're doing is messing me up, then at that point, what I have to do is change my game plan.
Yep. Right.
You see guys go from A to Z in there, man. Oh, that game plan's not working.
Andre Ward was one of the best at that.
Andre Ward's one of my favorite fighters, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would take an advantage, like Andre Ward. He would take an advantage, and he would keep going to that advantage, keep doing it, just like he did with Sergey Kovalev.
Yeah,
kept you going to the body, kept going to the body, knowing that every time, even if I touch him in the belt line, he was going to have a negative reaction.
Yeah.
Bro, the good thing about Andre Ward, man, the thing I love about Andre Ward so much that people try to hate on, he had an inside game.
Yep. Yes,
Or
he did.
did.
One of the best.
One of the
And
best.
Kovalev wanted none of it.
No, he didn't. He didn't. But he had an inside game. But he always had an inside game. People are like, oh, he's dirty. He's wrestling. No, this brother's boxing. I can fight you inside. And that's one of the things that he did well that a lot of, like you said, slick black fighters don't do.
He's turning
a lot of us
turning. He's doing all these different types of things.
He had an inside game, man. He knew how to go.
Don't watch boxing. The people that are casuals, they don't understand the little, subtle things that is being done when somebody's on the inside. When Andre Ward was on the inside, he would turn you left, he would turn you right, dig to the bottom, catch you with the hooks, catch you with an uppercut, catch you with a straight right. Always moving on the inside while he's doing it. Always moving, left, right. You know what I'm saying? And people say those people that don't know about boxing, they'll say, "Oh, Andre Ward's dirty." No, you got to look at what he's doing in there, like what is actually going on in the trenches.
Yeah.
But
and you know what, Andre Ward, he was, let's just keep it a bug. He was a dirty, but it's dirty boxing. You know what I mean?
He wasn't like throwing low blows.
Does it. We all do it.
He wasn't, but he wasn't like throwing low blows and stuff.
No. Especially against Kovalev, that was his thing. But you know what pisses me off about Kovalev, bro? He's another sole loser. When he lost that fight, when Andre Ward caught him with the last shot, which I admit was a little low, but I don't think it was that low.
No, you're right about that one. I'll give you that one. That last shot was a little low.
Right, Kovalev dropped, and he was kind of like in pain. All of a sudden, like when the referee waved it off, he's just like walked off like nothing happened. I'm like, I thought you just got hit low.
That's it.
If a grown man that's a boxer hits my nuts low, cup or not, I'm probably gonna be crying on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy just got up like nothing happened, and I'm just like, I think he was faking a lot of those body shots to get time to rest. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he was fatiguing in that fight.
Andre Ward knew that too.
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
To the body area, he had a negative reaction. I remember watching that fight. I said, Andre Ward's gonna stop this dude because he just every time you touch somebody to the body, Kovalev just kept having that reaction. It's like you were saying when he stopped him, there was no protest. None whatsoever. It was just like, oh, okay, the fight's over. Let me get up and what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing, I forgot what round it was. I think it was like the round before the stoppage where he catches him.
Yes.
He left hook, right hook to the body. Like you couldn't argue.
He acted like it was a low blow.
Still acted like it was a low blow. That's when I was like, yo, he wants out of this fight.
Yeah.
He wants this fight to end so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Andre Ward, obviously, he knew that. He took advantage of that.
That's one of my favorite fights, bro. I watch that fight often.
Yeah.
But no, Andre, man, like that's he's like somebody I want to meet. I haven't had the opportunity to. Yeah,
he's so knowledgeable, bro. Like not only was he a great fighter, but he's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that like when they commentate, there's like Lennox Lewis, he's not a good commentator.
No,
great fighter, amazing fighter, legendary Hall of Famer.
Tim Bradley,
not, you know what I mean? As well. Tim Bradley is very biased towards Terrence Crawford, so he's you know what I mean. But Andre Ward, perfect analysis, perfect fighter. You know what I mean? Paulie Malignaggi was a guy who he wasn't too great of a fighter, but he's a very good commentator.
Great analysis,
you know,
very good.
Andre Ward is that guy. He's perfect at both.
Yeah, I love listening to Andre.
I could listen to him all day when he breaks down fights. He knows everything. It's crazy, like the shit he says, and I'm like, yo, I didn't even catch that. You know what I mean? Like when he breaks down fights, like
I get mad when his interviews are wrong.
Like he shows me things that I didn't even know. Like, I'm like, yo, I didn't even catch that at first. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get mad when his interviews go off. That's all.
Man. And, you know, he's the dude. Yo, Andre Ward is the guy. I actually tried to reach out to him on Instagram.
Did you?
You know?
Me too.
Now he hasn't read it yet, but hey, you never know. You never know.
Bro, I would Danny, I'd pay you money to get him on the show.
Oh my god, I chip in on that too. Shit.
We talked about Gamboa. We also talked about Amanda Serrano. She said she was going to show, but that never materialized. So,
Yeah.
and maybe we could try Andre.
Hey, you never know. You know what? I actually, he commented on 2 of my posts on Instagram, which was pretty dope. I drew a picture of him, and he commented on it, and then it was a picture of one of my sparring clips, where I tagged him. I was like, "Damn, I learned this from Andre Ward," and
Nice.
so he's a humble guy, man. He actually reacts, he interacts with his fans, so it's a possibility, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nobody
Hey, did you hear about
too far.
Eric? Did y'all hear about the comments that Sean Porter made on his podcast about Jaron Ennis?
Oh, about Jaron Ennis? Yeah, I heard about that.
Saying Jaron Ennis was overrated. Boots is overrated?
No,
No,
he's not. Well, it depends. It depends how he means it. Is he a little overhyped without doing much? Yes, but he's not overrated. He passes the eye test with flying colors. I think Boots Ennis is the most, and this might be a stretch to you guys, but I honestly think Jaron Ennis is the most skilled fighter at 147. He's the perfect fighter.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch, but I do think that's a bit of a stretch. But I do agree in a sense of, is he next? Yes, I mean, there's nobody else next.
He's next.
He's next.
And this is why I say defense great, power punching great, hand speed great, footwork, everything. There's nothing that he struggles with. The only thing he struggles with is going backwards. But I feel like that's everybody.
But we gotta also judge opponents, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he has those things. I mean, I look great against a subpar sparring partner or a subpar, and I'm not saying that Sergey Lipinets or Thomas Delorme are subpar, but they're not elite by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they're not.
So I think we need to really see him fight somebody that's legit. Like I think him and what's his name? Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz.
Oh, Virgil Ortiz.
I think him and a Virgil Ortiz fight would be great. I think that would be an awesome fight. I'd love to see that fight, and I think that would be a good measuring stick to see where they both are. Now Boots is definitely a problem. Now what's his name? Sean Porter saying something like that. I don't know what's going on with him because before he actually said that Boots he's ready for these guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Sean's got going on. Maybe he's struggling in retirement, but I don't know what he's got going on. He's gained a little weight. Put on a little weight, looks a little, maybe he's a little bit depressed after the Crawford loss. I don't know.
Possibly.
But no, those comments don't work for me
at all.
No, Boots is definitely a problem. He can stand in there with them, but I really want to see him against somebody that's, reputable. Like, like I said, Sergey is probably honestly the best on his list right now. And the way that he dismantled Sergey was dope. That was dope.
Sergey at the time was a top 10 as well, too. By the way,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And he took care of Lipinets, he took care of Delorme. Didn't break a sweat doing it. He didn't break a sweat doing either one.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm very high on Boots just because I'm a guy that, although he hasn't fought that one guy yet, but nobody beat anybody until they finally beat somebody. You know what I mean? Like Floyd Mayweather at one point before he fought Gennaro Hernandez. The question was, well, who has he beaten?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. He went in there and dominated Hernandez, and that's what every fighter. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mike Tyson, Andre Ward, Roy Jones Jr., all these guys, when they finally stepped up in competition, everybody was asking the same questions. Well, who did he fight? You know what I mean? So, pretty much what my point is just because he doesn't have that resume yet, doesn't mean that he's not the best fighter. Skills wise, I think he's the best fighter. Resume wise is not, he's not there.
Yeah, no, of course you wouldn't have the resume yet. He's still kind of new, but I honestly don't. I'll tell you to be honest. I think he'll have a harder time with Crawford than he'll have with Spence. That's just my opinion.
That's true.
But anybody else, 147, I think he gives them work. But those two, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I would even after. Ugas is kind of becoming like I don't want to say he's a gatekeeper now, right? But I think that we'll say it this way: Ugas is the gatekeeper to undisputed. We'll say that.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. We'll say that. I think that's fair.
That's
right?
tough.
So
that's tough.
So I think if he were to fight a Ugas, like let's say he fights the loser of the Spence Ugas fight. I think that would be a good.
That would be a very good challenge for him.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I think if he has something like that, then I'm like, all right, he's a problem.
Yeah,
He's a problem. Okay,
but I think honestly, I don't think
he's already
Spence
a
fights
problem.
him because he's fighting. Who's he fighting? He's fighting somebody for the IBF eliminator or the mandatory spot, whatever it is. I forgot. It's that Russian dude. I forget his name.
Let me see. Juan Ennis. Let me see.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
Fighting for. He has an IBF elimination.
Yeah, IBF eliminator. He's fighting some Russian guy.
Yeah, I think so.
I forgot his name.
I know he's ranked. He's currently ranked number 4.
Yeah.
Ring Magazine. Wow.
So pretty much when Juan Ennis beats him and he becomes Spence's mandatory.
Custio Clayton.
Spence is in trouble.
Spence is not gonna fight him because you know what it is. Right now, Juan Ennis is just way too high of a risk, and the reward is low. Because if he beats Ennis, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, well, Ennis, he's an up and comer. He's not, he's too green." The same shit they gave Floyd Mayweather when Floyd Mayweather beat Canelo. They're gonna give Spence, you know what I mean, and Crawford. So that's the reason why I feel like Spence won't fight him because too high risk, low reward. Yeah, and I feel as though he might vacate. Or is he like the super champ or the franchise belt holder or whatever? Do they have that for the IBF?
I don't know. No.
They don't.
I think that's only
IBF is
it's just
good organization.
Yeah, IBF is one of the still standalone organizations that doesn't bring away belts.
So if he is his mandatory, he has to fight him or he gets stripped.
Has to.
Okay. Yeah. So this will be the IBF eliminator against Custio Clayton.
Okay. So I don't think Spence fights him. Honestly, I think he'll vacate and maybe move up, or he just vacates and maybe tries to fight.
He's talking about vacating anyway.
Yeah, so. It's just Ennis right now. He's just way too dangerous, and he hasn't done anything to where as if Spence does beat him, he gets credit for it because he's not going to get credit for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They're just going to say, well, he was too green. He was too green. Who did Ennis fight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think Ennis beats Spence anyways, but. We probably won't ever find out, honestly.
Probably not.
True story. Yeah, true story.
And he's a great fighter, man. I mean, he's a great up and coming fighter. I would have to say.
I think he's the best prospect. I don't know if is he even still considered?
No questions. No questions.
Best prospect in boxing?
Absolutely, no questions. Above Big Baby, yeah, no questions.
Above Big Baby.
He gets more recognition. Yeah, I mean, because here's what I look at when I look at prospects. What are the people that are at the elite level now saying about this guy? Now, of course, nobody's really like down talking Jared Ennis. I mean, not Jaron Ennis, but Jared Anderson. But everybody's talking about Boots at 147, and everybody has something respectful to say. Yep. And at that stage, at elite level, and I'm talking about cats in the gym, cats, that obviously are still competing, cats that are smart. Like everybody is like he's the next thing. So when I look at that, I'm like, unless everybody in boxing is lying, which is possible because boxing is a corrupt sport. But it's like unless everybody is lying, they're he is the next prospect. He's the next big thing. So unless he loses against this Custio guy, I doubt it happens.
It's possible, but I doubt it.
Anything happens in boxing, right? But I sincerely don't think that happens. He's next in line. But like I said, I think if we can get Spence Crawford to happen, Crawford I believe wins. Crawford will be undisputed once again.
How long we been waiting for that fight, man?
I mean,
how long we gonna keep waiting is the question.
This is a big move, though. This Ugas Spence fight is a big move. I think if I were Terrence right now, what I would do is I would just sit back. I wouldn't fight again. I would just be training and wait for this fight to go and then get that fight signed because this is a big move.
Well, Spence's next fight is in the courtroom against Bob Arum, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, you mean Crawford's next fight?
Crawford's next fight is with Bob Arum in the courtroom, and we'll see how that goes. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. Hopefully, Crawford signs with PBC, or maybe he becomes a free agent and just
he needs to start his own promotion company.
I doubt it.
It's like,
I don't know.
Worry about Crawford fighting for the PBC though. You know what I'm saying? What I hope they don't put him on the shelf like they've done some other fighters like the Gary.
He used to be in shelves, bro. So I think that would be like something that he would probably say up front, like that's not what I want. I think Crawford needs a better team around him, man. Not necessarily his coaching team, but his management team, bro. Like whoever is leading him to the water, man, is not letting him drink because it's like. This whole allegation, even like we talked about, Danny, like coming at it from a race angle, bro, that's not what you would do. You should have done this 5 years ago when you weren't getting the fights that you wanted. Now you're going to sue him because you're out of your contract. Maybe he didn't have the money to do. I don't know all the details, but I'm just thinking, like, if I'm your manager and you're in this contract that is not presenting you anything, and your promoter is on national television, or well, maybe on national television, whatever it was, the YouTube circuit, telling people that he's losing money off of you.
Yeah, he
telling you that he's a good fighter, but I'm not getting anything out of him. He's a so on and so that, you know what I mean, whatever. Dude, leave them. Like, everybody around you is talking. Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, who was the other one? Ray Mercer, who's it? Iran Barkley. All of them said, bro, you need to go ahead and leave Top Rank alone. You know what I mean? So I really mean, like, this. I don't have the time to go into this one as much as I want to, because I'm gonna get in trouble, man. My wife's not supposed to be hanging out. But this one I feel passionate about, because I'm like, dude, it's too late. Well, who you gonna for $10 million, bro? You could have been making that if you had already cut away from from that promotion company.
The only reason I feel like it holds some kind of weight is because the way he talked about Crawford, about him losing money, he didn't say the same thing about Tyson Fury, because he lost money on Tyson Fury. He lost millions, thousands, millions.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that I don't think that the allegations are true. What I'm saying is that I don't think that this is the time that you should have attacked that. You should have attacked that 3 or 4 years ago. You got to get the fights now that matter. You're 33 years old. You got to start getting these fights that matter if you care. But I don't think Crawford's mindset really is there. I think more so what his mindset is I've cemented myself. I'm already a Hall of Famer. If I fight Spence or if I don't fight Spence, it doesn't really matter to me, because he's already undisputed. He's a 3-division champion. At this point, he could retire today and still be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He said this. So it's like that mindset can't be there, man. If you're still trying to go and be active and fighting, he's fighting the wrong fight is what I'm saying. He's fighting the wrong fight at the wrong time. You're now finally out from under the banter and the foolishness of Bob Arum. Now you go set your promotion company in place. You start to promote yourself. Get the fights that you've been trying to get this whole time you've been with them. Don't waste time with Bob. Now you've wasted time with Bob Arum for your entire career. Now you're wasting more time with Bob
Arum. Wasting money too.
Yeah.
Right. Time and money. You're wasting more time with Bob Arum by going and trying to sue him in court. No, bro, that's another 3.5 years. Who knows how long this court case goes on?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have the time like that. So I just think it was wrong timing. I don't think he should have even touched this. I think he should have just left Bob Arum, left him cold and dry, like he said at the end of the Sean Porter fight. He said, hey, we're cutting ties, blah, blah, blah. And whatever. I'm done. Nothing else Bob Arum related in my life. I'll sue Bob Arum when I retire.
I agree.
Right now, I need to get the fights.
Get the fights. Yeah, man. One more thing, man, before we go, man. Devin Haney Kambosos. Should he go to Australia? It doesn't look like he's going to be.
Heck yeah.
But should he go to Australia to fight?
I think, technically speaking, Kambosos, and this might sound crazy, Kambosos to me is the A side. You know what I mean?
That doesn't sound crazy at all, bro.
You know what I mean? Is he considered the undisputed champion?
I mean, he has all the belts, except for
so technically speaking, he's the undisputed champion, right?
Trash belt.
Oh, he's got the franchise belt. Okay,
So instead, except for that trash belt,
the NBF belt.
Yeah, NBF belt. I can go buy one of those. I think it's a thrift shop at the store. I can get one.
So because he's the A side, in my opinion, he's the A side. I think that Devin Haney, if he really wants that fight, I think he should go to Australia. Honestly, he's coming off of who was Haney's last opponent? I forget his name.
Jojo Diaz.
Jojo Diaz is a decent fighter, but I think a win over Teofimo Lopez, which was much more impressive, considering the fact that Lopez just came off of beating Lomachenko, who was the actual champion. Exactly. I think in the fact that he's technically the undisputed champion, I think that Devin Haney should, because in my opinion, he's the A side. Kambosos is the A side. So you being the A side, it's right. Whatever terms you want. You know what I mean?
And they're talking like they're the A side. Him and his father, they're sitting there talking like, oh well, we don't want to go to Australia. He needs to come to us.
Bro, Devin Haney, bro.
Up to 140.
We need to, bro.
Taylor?
We need to reconnect again. We need to reconnect again because I want to go into detail on that.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Bill Haney and Devin Haney, man. I think Devin is a great fighter. I really enjoy his style, but Bill has so much stuff with him, man, that bothers me. And it's like a whole lot of cap, just a whole lot of cap. And it's like, bro, Kambosos told you from the jump, you're gonna, if I win, whoever fights me is gonna have to come to Australia. Why are we arguing about this now when we already knew that was the case? He said that to your face.
Come on, man.
He said it to your face at the end of I think it was at the end of him beating Tio.
Yeah.
He was like, whoever, I'm the A side. He is the A side. I mean, you have all the belts. You're the A side now, right?
Yep.
I have to do what you do. Exactly. Did not Kambosos come to New York to fight Teo?
Yes, he did.
Why would you not go to I mean, Teo says he's from Brooklyn. Why would you not go to Australia to fight him for all the belts when you claim to be who you are? I'm not a paper champion. I'm a fighter. Show me.
Show me.
100% agree.
It wouldn't be a question, like, bro. I mean, like, I'm Johnny, man. You saw it before, bro. Like, it wouldn't even be a question.
I agree 100%, bro. That's why that's why I always say and I've said the same thing as you, bro. Like Devin Haney's camp, it's just cap. You know what I mean?
All the time.
All the time. I don't think they really want that fight because if they did, you're flying out to Australia. That's a no-brainer.
I already had my ticket last week. Yeah. Like the joint is right.
That's the biggest fight of your career. Why are you know what I mean? Why are you even fighting it?
When I heard when they announced the winner at the end of the Teo fight, I was ordering my tickets to Australia. That's how it should have been. When they announced, hey, Kambosos is now the undisputed champion, I'm ordering my tickets to go to Australia. It's very simple, man. It's very simple.
If you want to if he wants to get the respect that he feels that he deserves at 135 pounds, he needs to go over to Australia and get them belts from Kambosos. If you feel like you're the champion, why is that such a problem?
Yep,
why are you guys acting like an A-side when you haven't made any A-side moves?
Right.
When Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, right? He was not. He knew he was not.
He moved on his terms. He moved on Oscar's terms.
Exactly. He moved on Oscar De La Hoya's terms. Oscar De La Hoya picked the gloves and everything. And guess what? That fight propelled him to where he needed to be as a fighter. So I understand why Devin Haney and
you know what? That was what Miguel Cotto was trying to explain to Sergio Martinez.
Exactly.
You know, he said when I fought Pacquiao and Floyd, I understood. Yeah. You know, I was fighting on their terms or I wasn't fighting. Exactly. And that's what Devin Haney needs to understand. When you're unfortunately nowadays boxing is more of a business than it is a sport, but there is still a business part of it. I'm sure he likes to pay checks that come along with the sport. You know what I mean? So follow the champion, take his belts if you're really as good as you say. Yeah. Take his belts, go get that check. And then now you're the A side, and then you can dictate
so simple.
Whatever you want.
You know
wait, don't they actually fight under the same promotion as well? Aren't they both under the zone?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Why is this even a conversation? Because you don't want to get on a plane to go to Australia, bro?
Yeah, pretty much.
Get out of here, man.
All right, man. Danny, thank you so much for having me on, man. I'm gonna get going.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you, Rob, man. Until next time, brother.
Man.
Man.
Great talking with you.
Hey. Check out Southpaw for Life 94. That's his Instagram. That's my boy Johnny. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Look me up on Instagram. Rob, you already know what the progressions are. Facebook.com MOW Boxing.
Come check us out, man.
Facebook.com Danny's Dimensions Podcast. So until next time, this is a great episode. Appreciate everybody for coming on tonight. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you guys for watching. I'm out of here.
Peace. Deuces, man.